Coming up with content ideas is tough, but what if it doesn't have to be? In this video, I'm going to show you the exact way to create high-performing social content on repeat. See, most content is poorly packaged, fails to spark curiosity, lacks differentiation, and doesn't deliver on the promise it makes. But you can change that. You do this by understanding the 5 tenets of successful social media. The first is context. Right away, you need to give the user context on what your video is about. Is it for them, and is it for the ideal customer that you have? Just as much as you want to attract the right people into your content, you also want to push away those that aren't interested. In the first 3 seconds, somebody should know exactly what your video is going to be about. The context should be polarizing in itself, meaning that it pushes away the audience that you don't want and pulls in the audience that you do want. Think about this video. Within the first few seconds, you knew that it was about social media and social media content. That pushed away everyone else who isn't interested in that topic. Now, the second tenet is sparking curiosity, often called the hook. The first 3 seconds of your content is where you need to spark curiosity. The hook sparks interest, but delays giving the audience what it wants, so they stick around to watch more of the content. And as the audience member stays around for longer and longer, your content is going to need more and more hooks to drive more curiosity and keep that audience member engaged with the content. Think about it like this. We give the user context, we give them a hook, we give them a little bit of the content, then we give them more mini hooks throughout, delaying until we actually give them the answer that they came to your video for. This is how you build tension and then give people what they actually want. And you'll notice this in any high-performing piece of content. Take Mr. Beast, for example. His content is full of hooks to keep you engaged all throughout his video before he gets to the big reveal at the end. You can use this to your advantage. The third tenet is content itself. More specifically, the packaging, the quality, and the POV. Okay, what is packaging? You might have heard other creators talk about this. Packaging is the idea, the thumbnail, the caption, everything that accompanies the video itself. Where we really want to focus in is the idea. This will be the biggest driver or setback in your content. Content ideas fall into 2 buckets. 1, commodity content. This is a common idea that can be easily copied by anybody else. Typically, it is low effort, and a lot of companies are already creating this type of content. The second type of content, and where we want to focus, is differentiated content. This is where you couple an uncommon idea with low, medium, or high effort in your content, or 2, a common idea where you apply unusual or a ton of effort to that idea. Either of these are going to result in content that is either new or way better than what's already in the marketplace. And now let's talk about quality. See, a lot of goobers online will say, just pick up an iPhone and start shooting. And I was one of those people, admittedly, but it's not 2018 anymore. In 2025, feeds are too competitive, and it's time you up your game. You don't need to spend an arm and a leg, but you do need to up-level your camera, and almost maybe more importantly, make sure you have decent audio. Watch any show where the audio is slightly off, and you'll notice it's almost impossible to watch. Now, the last part of content that I want to dive into is POV, the point of view. And where brands and creators go wrong is actually centering themselves in the content, themselves as the hero. They say, look at me, look how great I am. We actually don't want to do this because this causes your customer to tune out and swipe past your content. So instead of saying, we're so proud we raised this much money, or we're at conference booth 432, you can take one of 2 lenses, the guide or the explorer. Let's start with guide. The guide is straightforward. Think about it like this. You want to be Mr. Miyagi to your customer's Karate Kid, where you help them solve or get through a problem that they may have. When you take on this role, you position your customer as the hero while you retain the position as the helpful guide. Now let's look at the other POV, the explorer. This is when you aren't the expert, but you're going to take something, go explore that topic, and then report back on it. This is where you are with the audience going through and trying things out. For instance, a few years ago, we tried 8 different email providers before doing a breakdown on which one we thought was best for small businesses. That post still gets traffic today. We didn't come out and say MailChimp is great or Constant Contact is the best. Instead, we went through and gave the real pros and cons of each platform, what we liked, what we didn't, and where we were going to put our money forward in the platform that we chose. This helped us build trust without us faking it like we were email experts. The next tenet is engagement or shareability of your content. Point blank, is your content interesting or shareable? Because share rate is going to be one of the biggest determinants of your content's performance. But how do you get people to share? Well, first, let's ask why people share. And I think it comes down to 3 reasons. 1, it's useful. 2, it's entertaining. Or 3, it improves the sharer's social currency, meaning they seem in the know if they share that content with their friends. Think a breaking news story or an in-depth piece on an abstract topic in an industry. And if you can hit one of those three angles in your content, you're going to get shares. And finally, the last tenet is that a system raises your creative floor. You're only as strong as your best idea, but you're also as weak as your creative system. So better systems means better creative floors, which is important when you have to produce branded content all the time. Here's how to create a system that works. 1, define brand pillars. 2, decide how you're going to cover and talk about those pillars. 3, define the point you're trying to make with each piece of content. 4, choose the feeling that you want the viewer to have when they see your content. And if you do all this, you'll be well on your way to creating content and raising your creative floor. I'm actually going to put a link to our system below in the description. You don't worry, I'm not going to ask for your email or anything. This is a link right to the Notion board for the system that we use, so go and grab that. And ultimately, that's it. That's how to come up with social media ideas on repeat. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Mind Your Marketing. I'm Jordan Shelton, and I'll catch you next time.